Hello and good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you all for your kind presence, and we must begin shortly. Meanwhile, let me know how are you doing, people? Good evening. Okay, good, Shivam. It's good to know. Yeah, thank you for asking, Priya. I'm doing good. Okay, I guess people are a little busy. Is it the exam time that's making you? Okay, thank you so much, Kriti. We're happy to host you. Okay, so they say the very own key to the path of empowerment is education. And in this very era of digital revolution, where data science plays a crucial role in understanding the information and knowing the fact that the world is a one big data problem. Today, we at Grow Organization, under the aegis of Division of Student Welfare at Lovely Professional University, are glad to begin the third day of Empower 1.0 2022 Summit. My name is Srishti Sehwag, and this time we all are at a voyage of discovering the field of data science, the very heart and soul of this new era. This is the journey to the roadmap to unlocking the potential of data science. I would like you all to welcome Ms. Garima Saluja, an international AI educator and an incoming data scientist at Wabtec Corporation. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Srishti, for such a warm welcome. I really appreciate all of you joining here and looking forward for the session. Thank you so much for that introduction. Um, yeah, so all of you have joined. Can I start?
Yes, ma'am, it's time. You can start with the session.
Right. I hope my voice is audible clearly to all of you. Is it? Can you give me a thumbs up in the chat box if you can hear me clearly? All of you? Good evening. Thank you so much. All right. And my video is not lagging. All of us fine, right? Yeah, thank you so much for responses. Yeah, very good evening to all of you. I'm really looking forward to this session, starting this session right away. But I'd first take time out to thank Grow LPU Society for calling me over, for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to talk to all of you in a very candid manner. And Secondly, I also want to point out this culture at LPU for bringing women forward in technology and giving us a space to talk about our interests. Yeah, I really appreciate all this culture over here, and I think it's awesome. Right? Um, I am going to be sharing my screen. So I want, again, give me thumbs up if you can see my screen in the chat box, right? You have to guide me because I don't know, you know? All right, I'm going to be sharing my screen. Just let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen, all of you? Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for letting me know. Yeah. All right. So before I start this session, I have to again introduce myself. Like Srishti has done a very good job to introduce me, but I think I still have to introduce myself. I think I should. So I'm Garima Saluja. I am an international coding instructor. I teach things like Python, machine learning, deep learning, computer vision, and anything that is related to uh, artificial intelligence in general. Besides that, I'm also an incoming data scientist at Wabtec Corporation. And lastly, I hold a master's degree in artificial intelligence from IGDTW, Delhi. Right? So that's a lot about me. From this point on, we'll be talking about you and how, your future and how we can better your future together in this session. Right? I have a very humble request to all of you. I have to make a very humble request that for the next 1 hour, as I speak, I want your complete attention to be here. I'd really like if you can just, invest as much as you can in this session because I really want you to take something productive, something constructive out of this session. Really appreciate that. But I'd like energy to keep this energy till the very end of the session. Okay? All right. And lastly, this session that I'm going to take today is not like a monologue of me giving you speech, reading out a script, and then you pretending to be listening. This is going to be a discussion, right? So all of us are going to participate. It's not just me talking, it's also you thinking and answering. And if you think you have something valuable to say, you can unmute yourself and you can discuss, or even we always have the chat box, right? Um, so before we start, I want a quick message. I want all of you to type 4 things in the chat box. Your name, I can see your name, by the way, but still your name, your branch, your field of study, the year, and whether or not you know anything about data science at all. 4 things: your name, your branch, your year of study, and then whether you know anything about data science or not in the chat box. So please help me over here in the chat box if you can just quickly type all these 4 things. MBA 2023. Thank you, Prabhas. I think I took your name correctly. I think that's how it's pronounced. Right, Anish is saying yes. I want your name, your field of study, your year of study, and then if you know anything about data science. I'm looking at the chat. Forensic science, final year. Wow, Bharti, amazing. And you know something about data science. Wow. So Ritesh is just Ritesh. He does not study anything. Maybe. So we have a very diverse crowd over here. BTech. Okay, you're in data science only. Okay, BTech and MBA. Wow. BTech, CSE data science. Wow. Amazing. All right. Perfect. Thank you so much for giving me that little overview of your crowd. Now, as I said, that this is going to be a discussion rather than a lecture. So we'll begin with our very first activity. I want you to look at the screen, put your attention to the screen, and answer the question that I ask you. Okay? So the first question that I have for you is, what do you think is the number one asset in today's world? What do you think is the number one asset in today's world? You can take time to think. I can also give you options, and we'll use the chat box for communicating the answers, right? So, what is the number one asset in today's world? Is it diamonds? You know, investing in diamonds? Is it gold? Is it NFTs? Any NFT people over here? What do you think is the most important, most valuable asset in today? Investing in ourselves, Pravas says, wow, that is actually correct. What about others? Arpita says it's NFT, which is partially correct. Okay. Equity, good. Crypto, yeah, I was expecting crypto over here. Cryptocurrency. What else? NFTs, yeah. Most of the people are going to say NFTs, yeah. Right? Right. Partially, it is NFT. Right? But we're not going to talk about NFT here. But I just brought it up because options, Rashmi says. Wow, that is actually quite intriguing. You know, having options is most valuable asset. All right. So NFTs can be the most important or most valuable asset as per now, but again, it's a volatile industry, so it it fluctuates. But the all-time most valuable asset in today's world, where we are generating data at an exponential rate, it is going to be data, right? I can have a zillion ways of telling you why and how data is the most valuable asset, but I am going to show you this right away, right? I am going to prove it over here in the next activity that follows. So here I have a practical example for you. This. Can you see can you see the Excel sheet on my screen? Okay. All right. Do you want me to zoom in, or can you read the columns? Let me just zoom in a little bit so that you can read in the columns. All of you can see the columns. Now, yeah. All right. So this is a practical activity of proving how data is the most valuable asset. What you have over here is we have a start. This is actually the data collected by Google Maps. Let us think that way. That it it finds your GPS location, the starting point where you start driving from, the ending point where you stop the driving, the day of the week, and the end time, right? So let us look at all the columns. Look at all the columns, see as much as you want, take as much time as you want. This is the driver record of a person, who drives to a certain destination on a daily basis, who commutes using his vehicle, right? I want you to have a look at it and tell me, what does this person do for a living? Just by looking at this data. Just go through all the columns and rows. And you have 5 minutes time to tell me, the first question is that what does this person do for a living? I hope all of you know what AIMS is, right? Even in, he's a doctor, right? Arpita said he's a doctor. How many of you agree that he can be a doctor? He's a doctor. Prabhas even says he's a doctor. Wow, he's a doctor. Wonderful. What about others? What do you think? Even Abhishek agrees he's a doctor. All right, he's a doctor. How many of you think that he's a doctor? Say yes in the chat. Or maybe Anish, very good observation. Perfect. Excellent. Brilliant. He can also be a nurse. He can be a nurse as well. He or she can be a nurse as well. But definitely someone who works in the medical field, definitely someone who might be a staff at hospital. Very good, Vikram. Very good. Right. He can be someone who works at the hospital. Definitely, for sure. Because can it occur that the other possibility could be that he can be really sick and maybe he has to go for his treatment every day at 5 a.m. Does that make sense? Yeah. Can he be a patient? Can he be a patient? Okay. All right. So if he is a patient, he has to go to the hospital 7 days a week for a particular stipulated time. Why would, if he's so terminally sick, if he's so terminally sick that he has to go to the hospital every single day, better get a bed over there, better get admitted. Why do you drive yourself daily when you're a patient to hospital? Would a patient do that? Because he has to go all the 7 days. So can he be a patient? Or will he be working over there? He's working over there. Yes, Prabhas. He is not a patient because look at his working hours. Look at his hours. He's working over there. Very good. All of you are correct. He's an employee over there. He works for the hospital. He's not a patient because every morning at 5 a.m. around 5 a.m. Why do you have to go and you are a patient? You're sick at the end of the day, and he has to be someone who's a doctor or a healthcare professional. So using this data, we concluded that this person is a doctor or a nurse. Right. The next question is, where do you think he lives? What is his address where he puts up? Where does he stay? That address. Look closely and you'll find his address as well. Yeah, Prabhas, I was saying, where does he stay? What is his address? His residential address, where he stays. Yeah, Delhi, of course. Of course, it's Delhi. See, the first column, he always starts from this address that is 14880 type 4 Tar 8 Lodi Colony, New Delhi. And then the pin code. Yeah, Lodi Colony. Lodi Colony. All of you are right. Right? So he stays at this address, Lodi Colony. And I'll tell you that Lodi Colony is it's one of the posh areas in Delhi, where well-off people live. So we also concluded that he's doing good financially. Right? He is doing good financially. We made two conclusions about this person. First, he works in the healthcare profession. Second, he is financially well off. There is a third very important information that is hidden in this about his financial status, about his bank. Can anyone tell me which bank he has the account in? There's something about his bank over here as well. Who will tell me what is his bank? SBI. Mahesh is saying SBI. Right. We also know that he goes to SBI for his bank matters. Right. So much information. There's another piece of information from here as well, that his day off is on Saturdays. On Saturdays, he's mostly free. Right. There is another information that is hidden over here. That can anyone spot where DLF mall thing is written? Mall thing is written. Right. On Wednesday, he goes to DLF Mall for probably shopping, which is again quite well of people go there for shopping, right? Wednesday, very good, Nitin, right? DLF Mall. So now this data and all the conclusions that we made about this person, how can we use them? So I know for sure that this person works in healthcare. Now companies will chase him for selling their products to him. He's a potential buyer. He's a potential customer. He'll be investing in things like all the pharmaceutical stuff that doctors need, right? Pills or maybe stethoscope or any other medical instrument that a doctor might need, right? So pharmaceutical companies will target him. Second information, that he likes to shop from DLF Mall, which is like a rich mall over here, if I tell you about Delhi, right? So he's well off. He's financially well off. So, right? So much information, Priya, so much information. We can do so much around this, right? Second information is that, he likes to shop from there. And, for a mall is not a single entity. We've got many, many brands over there. We've got food outlets over there. We've got fashion outlets over there, right? So all those fashion companies and all those food companies now see this person as a potential buyer. That this person will buy from them because this person likes to visit DLF for his shopping needs. And since he's financially well off, he's a doctor, he does not have much time to think about shopping. So he might as well spend more money because he prefers quality over quantity. He does not have time for going to places and finding out the cheapest cheapest deal because he's a doctor and he's financially well. And fourth important information is that because this person is financially well off, he is an A-lister customer. Companies like such customers who would spend money because he has money to spend. We can tell, right? So from this particular data set, from this just 4 or 5, maybe 5 columns, we concluded what this person does for a living. We concluded where he lives. We concluded how his shopping habits might be. And we concluded that this person is a very good potential buyer for different industries. Okay? Do you agree? All of you? Yeah. All right. Now, what if I tell you what we just did is actually data science? What we just did over there in the Excel sheet, taking all the insights, this is in fact data science. All of this is data science. This is what data scientists do on a daily basis. They make sense out of data. We took data, right? We took our time to look at the data. We observed it, we see patterns over there, and then we concluded things like he's a doctor, he's a buyer, he's a potential customer. This is what data scientists do, right? I can have, again, a million of informal definitions about what a data scientist does, but I will give you a formal, concrete sort of definition. That is, a data scientist is one who uses data to make as much impact as possible for his or her company. Right? Now, what is this impact? This impact can mean different things to different companies. Right? This can mean different things to different companies. See, over here. All right. So, for different companies, like for Netflix, right? How does Netflix make money? Can anyone tell me? The MBA people? How do you think Netflix makes money? What does it sell? OTT platform. Very good, Shazul. It's an OTT platform that shows you shows and movies and recommends you stuff which you might be movies. Yeah, Shiva says movies as well. Perfect. Right. Now, the impact for Netflix could be web series, right? The impact for Netflix could be your attention. Basically, all the OTT platforms, they are competing to get your attention. be it Amazon Prime, be it Netflix, be it Hotstar, Disney Hotstar, right? All these platforms are competing for your attention. If I tell you what their business agenda is to keep you hooked on the platform, to keep you coming back to the platform and give them all the attention that you have in the world. Just leave all the work and watch Netflix. That is how they want things to happen. But this is the impact that they want. So let's say I get Shiva as data scientist. I hire Shiva as data scientist in my company, and since I'm Netflix, I ask Shiva to just sort me any way so that people will stay on my platform for more, will stay on Netflix, will stay hooked to Netflix. So Shiva says, okay, we'll build something, we'll give them recommendation based upon what they watch. Let's say some person watches Friends, right? And he also watches Big Bang Theory. Now he's much more likely to watch How I Met Your Mother as well, because that falls under the same category, right? So Shiva came up with an idea to make a better recommendation. Yes, they are same in their genre. So Shiva came up with the idea to make the platform smart enough to decide what a particular person might watch, right? And since you're giving them what they really want to watch, they will keep on watching it. Right? So this is the impact that Netflix expects, right? For a company like Amazon, and Amazon has a different business model. So for Amazon, profit looks like maximum sale. You want maximum products to be sold, and which the customer might be interested in buying, right? So has anyone ever seen on Amazon when buy something, it shows you that people who bought this also bought this, or maybe frequently bought together? Have you come across such statements once you buy something? So that who is doing that? Okay. A data scientist has written the code for doing that, because how does that help you? A person who's buying certain thing will also be likely to buy this thing, and that will maximize again the profit. So you're giving the recommendation that you might also be interested in buying this. We also have this. So this is what the data scientists would do in Amazon. For urban company, let's talk about urban company. Yeah, like you buy a phone, then they also suggest earphones or AirPods, obviously. Right? And then you'll say, okay, I think I need earpods. I think I need earphones. And then you'll buy it. So it's like a digital salesman, right? All right. Lastly, companies like urban companies who are solely based upon profit-based companies, they're profit-based companies. So urban company is a typical example of that. It'll ask its employees to do anything and everything to increase the sales, to increase the profit, to increase the revenue, do anything and everything. So be it, revolutionizing their services. They have a lot of services. They have salon services, they have home services, or be it about some products that they might launch, right? So a data scientist should be able to see patterns, should be able to suggest solutions in order to maximize the company's growth. How much of an asset you are to the company, that determines that whether or not you're a good data scientist, right? I hope that's clear to all of you. Is it making sense to you? Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for replying to all the things. Now having having understood that what a data scientist would do, let us see what all do you need to know, or what all does a data scientist really do, right? So here I've made a Venn diagram, talking about where data science actually lies. So being a data scientist involves a lot of skills. It's not just about coding in Python or some other languages and being all the tech geek. It's also about your interpersonal skills. It's also about your soft skills. It also is about how intuitive and how inquisitive you are. How, you know, what kind of questions do you ask, right? Um, so here we have some level of programming skills. Those are involved. Programming skills include languages like Python and R. Mostly people use Python because that is the language of choice when it comes to companies. R is mostly like research based language, so not many companies use them. Then there is very important thing that is analytics and data engineering. Does anyone here know anything about data engineering? The data science people? What is data engineering? ETL, very good. Mahesh, what about others? All right. So, see, we got the data. We just made sense out of the Excel sheet, right? So, the practice designing and building system to that is very good. I am really liking these responses. They're so insightful. Right. But again, let me tell you. So we have this data, like we had the Excel sheet, right? How did we get this Excel sheet? How did we fetch the data? How did we store it in such a nice fashion that you could make sense out of it? Right? All of that is taken care of in the data engineering step. So there is a particular team of people who work as data engineers in company, and they know how to maneuver data, how to make sense of unstructured data, how to pre-process it well, how to pipeline it well with, for data scientists to work on them. Right? But data scientists also should know how to collect data, how to store it nicely, how to store it in databases, and how to streamline it with the pipeline. Right? So that is, you should know certain amount of data engineering as well. And about analytics. Now, here is where the storytelling part comes. You should be very good at communicating your results. Because see, the example that we just did, we did the Excel thing. So some of you quickly just grasped that this person is a doctor. It took you a split of seconds to decide that this person is a doctor. But the other was still finding out, what is this profession, looking at the data. Because all of us are not on the same page. So once you're working in a company as a data scientist, you have to communicate your results to people who do not know anything about data, who do not know the language of data. So you have to communicate with them in a very effective manner, right? Here is where your analytics and visualization comes into picture. You speak the language of a normal person, right? You make sense to a normal person. That is when I'll call you a very good data scientist, because everybody understands what you're saying. It's not all technical jargons, right? So here you have to communicate your analytics, you have to communicate your data, you have to show it in form of nice representation, charts, bar plots, histograms, heat maps, anything or everything that shows your that speaks for the data. That is counted in analytics. And here is where your soft skills comes into picture. How well do you communicate? How well do you make presentations and make sense to people? Right? Then we have some sort of math and statistics knowledge as well, right? I do not want you to get frightened with math coming over here and stats coming over here. It's not your hardcore maths like integration or differentiation. It is very simple day-to-day regular math. Sometimes it becomes, sometimes it becomes a little difficult when we go to the research area. But for being a data scientist, you do not have to go into the, actual real dirty math. You can just be very shallow with your mathematical knowledge. Just a general interest in maths and stats will help you, right? So this is needed, right? Yeah, then it's fine, Sneha says, right? And certain amount of very small part of machine learning you should know. It's a common misconception that, data science is all about machine learning. Maths make it more interesting. Yeah, obviously. So some people are math lovers as well. So other people, just generally most of the people, they hate math. So that's why I said, right. So yeah. Okay. Right. So coming to machine learning. Machine learning is a very, very small part of being a data scientist. And people confuse it, people mistake it for the entire data science thing. It's a very small part of being a data scientist. Predictive modeling. Your work as a data scientist mostly revolves around cleaning the data, pre-processing it well, making sense out of data, communicating your results, showing them in nice representation, visualization, and a little bit of forecasting, which is done using ML algorithms. This forecasting is again around whether our sales will go up or go down. With this current plan, will our sales go up or down? Will this particular model make profit or loss? Things like that. So we have to predict such things, and that is where machine learning will come into picture. And lastly, but not the least, it is the business intelligence, which is the most crucial point of being a data scientist, and it cannot be learned. Sadly, there is no course to learning business intelligence because every company has a different business model. You should have a little business acumen in order to understand, how a particular company works, what is their business model, how are they making profit, how are they making revenue, how are they generating revenue, how is their valuation done. So all of that you learn on the side. This is the interesting part. Once you're employed as a data scientist in a company, then you gain this business intelligence. But you should have, that intuition in you, that eye, that investigative eye to see patterns. If you keep that alive, you will sail through in any company. Be it Google, be it Microsoft, be it any startup as well. You will do just fine over there, right? So all these pillars, like you see over here, all these things are required to become a data scientist. And machine learning is just a very small part of it, right? All the algorithms that you see over there, the fancy algorithms, those are just a very small part of it. But you should have all these skills as well to become a very good data scientist, right? I hope this is clear to all of you. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Let us go to the next slide. Right. Like I said that, data science is an amalgam of different branches. And it is sometimes mistaken for artificial intelligence because there's no differentiation between the two. There's no line of differentiation. There's a very thin line that differentiates between artificial intelligence, data science, machine learning, right? So over here, we've got different apps and designs which make use of data science, predictive modeling, and artificial intelligence, right? So see, what is this? Will tell me what is this icon? That is Gmail, Ravita. Very good. Very good. That is Gmail. Right. So this is Gmail. How do you think Gmail uses AI? Can anyone guess how Gmail uses AI? Okay, so typical Gmail interface, if you open it up, let me check if anybody gave answer. Spam, oh my God, spams. Yes, very good. Very good, Arpita. So it is about spam. So a typical Gmail interface would look like this. You have your screen, and over here on the left-hand side, you have this tab coming over. It reads spams. It has promotional emails, it has social emails, it has inbox, it has all inboxes, it has sent, it has drafts. So all such things are there, right? Auto suggestion of word. Mahesh, very good, very good. That's actually really good, right? So without you having to detect a spam email, sometimes people send you mail and they end up getting in spam folders. So that's why it's also recommended to check your spam folders. So how is that happening automatically? Promotional email, spam, social, how is that happening? That is where the machine learning algorithm or the AI comes into the picture, right? Because it is it is AI. It is automatically going through all your emails before even you go through it and looks for the words which might make it a spam, which might make it a fraudulent message, which might make it a promotional message, which might also make it a social message. And that's how it categorizes them. Okay? So that is also some part where data scientists and machine learning experts, they work in collaboration with. So this is the product. You are surrounded by such products. Will anyone tell me how YouTube uses AI? Yes. How YouTube uses AI? Can anyone tell me? For you tab. Wow, auto suggestion, recommendation. Wow. All of you know it. All of you are geniuses. Recommended videos, very good. Perfect. All of you are ads. Wow. Even you get your personalized ads as well. Linked and unlinked. That is also true. Right. So YouTube generally uses AI, you know, just a year ago. Have you ever come across this term, this phrase on YouTube? Have you ever come across this phrase? Recommended for you. No, recommended for you. Because you are interested in watching gaming videos. Let's say you watch gaming videos, right? You watch PewDiePie. So, and does anyone here know who's PewDiePie? PewDiePie? Gaming, he's yeah, right? So, right, PewDiePie, right? So let's say he right. So he makes a certain kind of content which generally revolves around meme review or maybe something of that sort. Or earlier it was a gaming channel. Uh, so it will recommend you things similar to what you've watched before. So it has learned your taste. That is again where AI comes into the picture. Now, uh, about Google Photos. Who will tell me about Google Photos? One of you has to tell me about Google Photos. Who will tell me? How does Google Photo use AI? I never use Google Photos. Are you an iPhone person? Collage, Abhishek, very good. Right. Friends and family, wow. Very good, Mayank. Marks, duplicate images, very good, Ritesh. Very good. Rohit says video. Face recognition. Akshay, perfect, on point. It does face recognition, right? It does the face recognition and it puts different folders. It makes different folders. You know, it says this is probably you. This is probably your friend. This is probably your family. These are the places that you visited. So this is the places that you visited. So again, it's doing image recognition. It's doing facial recognition, and that's again AI. So all of you are very smart over here. Um, I'm really happy to see all these replies. They're so on point. Well done. All right. So um, we just had a little discussion about data science and artificial intelligence, but the question is, why should you care? At the end of the day, why should you care about this? The answer is because data scientists are in demand. They are in demand. And like this in gallery also based on location. Yeah, in gallery also. Um, right. Digvijay says future is AI. That is true. That is indeed true. Data scientists are in demand. And that is because we are creating so much data you cannot even imagine. At this rate, if we continue to generate data, it is estimated that by 2026, we'll be generating 180 zettabytes of data. Does anyone here know what a zettabyte stands for? How much of data does it hold? A zettabyte is 10 to the power 12 of a gigabyte. That's a huge amount of data. And that is what we're going to generate till 2026. So all this data, and I told you in the beginning that data is the most valuable asset, right? So it's like if you do not make sense of so much data, you might lag behind because someone else will. Companies are competing for making sense of data. So companies need these people who are well with data, who understand data, who know what to do with data to make sense and to generate business plans for data. So companies are actively recruiting for data scientists, and I am not making this up. I am not making this up. I have evidence for this, right? According to a LinkedIn survey, it was reported that data science is the fastest growing job right now, and it has continued to do so for over 3-4 years now, and it will continue to do so till 2026. It will see a market rise of over 650% from 2012, when it was just beginning, to 2026. 650%, that's a lot, right? So that means that data scientists are in demand. We do not have any there is no scarcity of jobs, there's no scarcity of opportunities. All we need to do is to ask for it. And how do we ask for it? We train ourselves first. We learn how to become data scientists, and then we apply in them. And again, this is about jobs, and it is proportional to the amount of money that you'll be earning at the end of the day. It's always about money, right? So at the end of the day, you'll be having a very high paying job if you do certain things, if you become a very good data scientist, right? For me personally, I have just started working as data scientist, and for me, for my first job, I got the package. My package lies between 20 to 25 LPA. That's a very good starter package, right? And even you can do it, right? How? If you just follow the steps that I give you on the screen, right? So coming to the presentation now, having understood that, data scientists are in demand, we now should learn how to become a data scientist, right? How do we become a data scientist? And to understand how to become a data scientist, I think we should emphasize on the process a little more, so that we know what to learn, how the things work, then we'll learn how to and what to learn, right? So the first step is to, collect the data. Like I said, that the first step is always to collect the data. And do not worry about how the data is generated, because we are generating data. Even while you're doing nothing, you're just listening to me right now. You're doing nothing, but you're still creating data on Google Meet, right? So do not worry about the generation part. We can always generate data, even while we are sleeping. The problem is to store this data, or to collect this data, to get this data. Since I told you that we are producing huge amounts of data, and it has to be stored somewhere. Even when you say, okay, Varun, all right, that's a good thing. All right. Yeah, so I was saying that this data has to be stored somewhere. This data has to be stored somewhere, and it cannot be, even when you say, I'll store my data on cloud. Where do you think this cloud is at? It's again a remote server. It again is a hardware where you will store the data, right? So you need to have an efficient system which stores this data, databases. So first step is to know how to collect the data. Second step is to know how to handle this huge amount of data. That is where big data comes into the picture, right? This is the entire team. Now, once we have this data, and I tell you, I kid you not, this is very bad data. This is not good data. Like we saw on the Excel sheet, pretty data, all the columns nicely arranged, all the rows, no missing values, wonderful data to look at. We could make sense of it. But this data, which is generated at this point, it is ugly. It has to be taken care of. It has to be groomed. You have to do a lot of data grooming. You have to make sense out of it. It's almost like, you buy ration from the store. You get the raw dal. Data to info. Anish, very good. Excellent. Right? So let's say you purchase dal or pulses from the shop. Can you eat it raw? Can you just eat it right away? The pulses? No, don't do that, right? So you have to cook it first. You have to process it. You have to make it presentable so that someone would want to eat it. That is what we are supposed to do with this data. This data is ugly. This is raw. This has to be stored nicely. This has to be made sense of. And then only we can make sense of this data. We can give it to our product manager and say, this is our finding. and let us employ a business model. Right? This is the entire life cycle of a data science project. You get the data, you clean it, you make sense out of it, you generate insights, and then you hand it over to your product manager. And that is where the business decisions are made. Right? Fine. Okay. So the thing is that this role is quite impressive because you are in the decision making process. You get to decide which models to take, which models to reject, which business model should you keep based upon data, which should you reject. So this role gives you the power to take decisions for your company. So this role comes with a huge responsibility to be an asset to the company. So this is a authoritative post as well, and that does not happen with other posts generally. Right? Now, a little bit more about the roles that you will have to serve as a data scientist. I'll talk about the different types of companies and what they expect you as a data scientist. So if we talk about startups, startups are not companies. They're small organizations, and they do not have enough monetary resources to hire different people for different things. Right? They're new companies. They're very small companies, you can say. So startup or small companies, they would expect you to do all of the things that we discussed in the previous slide: to get data, to clean it, to make sense of it, to do predictive algorithms, to make business models. All of that they expect you to do for a startup, right? That's why they say if you really want to learn how to work, get into a startup, because they will make you work day and night, and they will make you do anything and everything that comes in the process, right? So a startup expects you to collect the data. They expect you to move and store the data, to store the data in various databases and to do query operation on them, to explore the data, to transform the data, to make sense of the data, put labels on it, do the storytelling, do model testing, and deploy the business algorithms. All of that is expected from you when you work for a startup, right? That's a lot. But if you go to a mid-level company, which is well off, which can have different people for different jobs, this is taken care of by software engineer, collecting the data because you have to write scripts for that. Then moving and storing the data is taken care of by data engineers. And then the part that you do is just this much. This. You clean the data, you have analytics and matrix. This is taken care of by a data scientist, and then the rest is again done by other people, right? Sometimes even this is also included as the role of a data scientist. So it's an ambiguous role because it basically depends upon, yes, multitasking. It basically depends upon the type of company that you're working for, right? But most importantly, you should be well aware with all the stages of data. That is when you can, switch to any part of the process, right? Okay. Now let us come to the actual thing, the roadmap to becoming a data scientist. And I kid you not, if you just follow this religiously, within 4 months from now, wherever you are, if you're in first year or second year, it's a blessing that you can start working on different projects and internships at an earlier stage, right? So this roadmap, if you follow for next 4 months religiously, then you can start applying to internships, and by the time you graduate or you finish your post graduation, you'll be having a very good job with a very good starting package as a data scientist right away. Because there is a lot of myth that goes around that data scientists, companies do not hire freshers, which is partly true. But why do companies not hire freshers? Because people do not know what to be done as a data scientist. They do not know the required skills, right? They don't know enough. So we are going to learn what the companies want, and for sure companies will hire you. You'll get calls, right? So let us see the roadmap now. For the first 3 months, this is level 1. What I want you to do is learn any language, Python or R. Preferably use Python. Python is it's the simplest, sweetest language that you can learn. It's very easy. It's very simple. And it should not take you more than 1 week to learn Python. Very simple to do stuff. If you're new to coding, if you come from a non-technical background, and yeah, if I did not tell you this before, data scientist, you can be an MBA graduate, you can be a data scientist. You can come from forensic science, you can be a data scientist. You can be from a chemical branch, you can be a data scientist. I myself was from an electrical branch in my BTech, and I became a data scientist. So that does not differentiate between the branches. Data science is a very liberal sort of job, right? So you can be a data scientist even when you do not have any prior coding experience. And if you do not have, thank you so much for such lovely comments in the chat box. If you do not have any prior coding experience, it'll take you 2 weeks or 3 weeks or maybe 1 month to learn Python. Where to learn Python from? Go to Coursera. How many of you are aware of Coursera? How many of you here know about Coursera? Okay. Most of you do, right? Most of you do. So go to Coursera and go to this course called Python for Everybody, right? Python for Everybody, and take this course and finish it off on one weekend whenever you get time. Do Python for Everybody, right? Once you're done with Python, then we'll get our hands dirty. We'll work with data. How do we work with data? We do EDA and visualization. Like I said in the analytics part, that you have to communicate your results. You have to show them beautifully in plots and figures and charts. You work around that part. And where to learn this from? How to do this? I will ask you to go on this website called Kaggle or Kaggle or whatever you want to call it. But this is a website. This is your ride and die website for data science. This is where you'll get everything related to data science, the data sets, the notebooks, the code. This is your pilgrim for being a data scientist. Here on Kaggle, go to courses and take courses in pandas. Take courses around pandas, data visualization, feature engineering are also there. Everything that you'll ever need is present over here. Right? I want you to take this pandas course over here. This will make you able to handle data. This will enable you to do EDA and visualization. And it requires a lot of practice. Keep on doing it. Go and see other people's notebook. You can search over here. You can write EDA. And you see that there are so many codes that will appear for different people. This is house prices EDA. If I just open it up, this is a lot of code, right? This is a code someone wrote. And we just, this is a nicely documented code. So if you just follow the coding notebook, you will understand what this person is doing. And for the starters, just copy paste it. Just copy paste this code into your notebook and run it. And this will give you so much of confidence. And along the line, you'll also start understanding why this person is doing this. So read other people's code while you're able to while you're learning to write your own code. So here, I want you to take course in Kaggle and also to explore other people's code, right? Be a little nosy and look into other people's businesses, right? So go to their code, see how they've worked around it, and understand. And if you have any doubts, learn from everyone. If you have any doubts, if someone has doubts, you can always go on YouTube, write the particular problem. That I do not understand by reading, I should watch something, go on YouTube. Go to Stack Exchange. Go to anywhere, everywhere possible. And if nothing works out, come to me. You can mail me. You can ping me on LinkedIn. And I'll always help you with anything related to machine learning, right? But the thing is that you should be able to find out the solutions to your problem. Yes, I'll give you my LinkedIn at the end, right? Okay. So that is about EDA and visualization. Here you can see nice plots are there. This is part of visualization. And once you learn doing this, then comes statistics, which most people are afraid of. There's a lot of fear about statistics. But I tell you that it is the simplest part of learning in data science. So Statistics, we've learned this in 10th class, right? 10th or 11th class. We learn about mean, median, mode, standard deviation, variance, my bad, variance. So we learn all such things while we are in 10th class. That we just have to upgrade while we prepare for being a data scientist, right? So statistics over here, it is of two types. Yeah, you're learning it in fourth sem, batao. So good, right? So you just have to brush over your skills, and it is nothing to be scared of. Statistics, when we talk about in machine learning or data science, it is of two types. It is descriptive statistic and it is inferential statistics. Right? Descriptive statistics, I will give you an example, very good example. So whenever you have to make a decision, right? Let's say I have to make a decision whether to enroll in a course at LPU or not, whether I should take a course at LPU or not. What do I yeah, what do I look at? What would you look at to enroll into a college? You might look at their average placement package, right? How good is the placement? How do you decide how good is the placement? You look at their placement package, average placement package. You might also look at the highest placement package as well, right? But what you just did was you looked at the average package, the mean, and you use your statistics over here to make a decision. That is where your statistics, your descriptive statistics came into picture. Similarly, in data science also, when we have to make decisions, when we have to take decisions, what will we do? We'll take help of statistics. We'll use mean, median, mode, standard deviation, variance, my bad. And that is all counted in descriptive statistics. Talking about inferential statistics now. Let us see, I have a hunch, I have an intuition. I'm working for a company and I think that, if we lower our prices by, let's say, some amount, then our profit should increase. I think this is true. I do not have any evidence for thinking so, but I think, if my company just reduces the price of the product by a certain amount, then my company will see exponential growth in profit. I just think so. I do not have any foundational background for that. That is where inferential statistics comes into picture. You have a thought, you have a hunch, you have an intuition, and you support it using statistics. You bring evidence for the support. What will you do? You will see whether actually reducing the price will increase profit or not. That is where inferential statistics will help you, right? So you can just see the profit margin and calculate the profit margin with reduced cost. And you'll see if the profit is more, then I won, my hunch won, I was right. Otherwise, your hunch was wrong. You were wrong. So this hunch or this intuition is called a hypothesis. And this is hypothesis testing that we do in inferential statistics. I do not want to go in the detail because this might start to confuse you. But again, the role of statistics is to make decisions in machine learning or in data science. So that is why it's important. Then once you learn statistics, you should, and where to learn statistics from? Again, where to learn statistics from? How do you learn this inferential, ma'am? I tell you. So you got all the resources on YouTube. I do not want to, give a specific name over here, but yeah, there's this guy called Krish Nayak. He has very good videos about statistics, the descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. So you can check out his channel for understanding it. And again, if you have doubts, you can mail me. You can give a screenshot of the things that you do not understand or any concept. I'll give you resources for that. I have a lot of resources with me. I can share it on a drive for you, right? After the session, all of you who are interested in learning all of this, just tell me. Just ping me on LinkedIn or maybe on Gmail, and I'll share all the resources that I have for you, right? So that is about statistics. Then comes the feature engineering, feature reduction, feature selection, and techniques. What happens? Here you get rid of some data, which is unimportant, which is not important. Let's say I'm a nutritionist, okay? I'm a nutritionist, and I suggest people about their diets. Right? I give people diets based upon their body mass ratio, or BMI, body mass index. Right? Um, so I conduct an online survey, a Google form, right? A Google form which has the space for their name, their email ID, and their phone number. Right? All of these things, right, like a feedback, a survey, right? And then I ask about their weight, and then I ask about their height. But once I'm training my model, once I'm writing the code, once I'm actually making a diet from for them, do I really need their name? Do I really need their email ID to decide what their diet should be? No. It's like, it's if the person names is Shantanu, then he has to be thin. He has to be given a bad diet. No, name has nothing to do with deciding the diet the person should have. So remove name. We do not want to take name into our consideration. Remove email ID. Remove the phone number. The model does not care about it. Once we have to create the diet for the person, nothing of that matters. Okay? So you reduce certain feature over here for making your model better. This is called feature reduction or feature selection. And you also calculate something known as BMI. How many of you know something about BMI? People who are into fitness, do you know about BMI? Yeah, body mass index, right? So, right. So it's like a ratio of how evenly your body mass is distributed over your height, right? So I will make that tells you weight you should have. So there's a formula for that. You divide your body mass with the height. You have some square over there. So you use two features, that is your body mass and then your height, to create a third feature, that is BMI. That is where you do feature engineering. You created a whole different feature, and on the basis of that you decide the diet. So that is the role of feature engineering, feature extraction, or sorry, feature selection, and techniques like hypertuning. That makes your model better, right? And once you learn all of that, then you can finally progress to ML algorithms, machine learning algorithms, deep learning algorithms, whatever you want to learn. But that is the last step, and that is the easiest step actually, to just learn all the algorithms and apply it, because you can find code online. You'll never find a time when you're totally helpless and you see that there is no code online. There's a lot of code about ML algorithms. But before that, all these things you need a lot of practice for, right? So you need to start making projects. At this point, I should tell you, once you're done till here, once you're done till here, you go on Kaggle after this and solve problems over there. Solve them. Just look at other people's code and see why they're doing what they're doing. And then again, eventually you will learn machine learning. Right? Once you are here, you have cleared your 75% out there in the data world, and you have 75% more chances of getting higher than the other people. Right? So just once you're done with all the ML algorithms, you make projects on Kaggle only, right? Look at other people's code, understand it, deploy it, and save it to your Google Drive, or maybe on your GitHub repository. Save it somewhere. फेंकना नहीं है. You don't have to disregard your code, right? You have to save it somewhere, so that once the recruiters come, they see that what you've done is actually there with you. It's on your portfolio. It's on your digital portfolio. So keep making projects, store them somewhere. Make projects, store them somewhere, right? By this time, you should do so. Now, the level 2 is relatively easier and quite interesting as well. Yes. Yes, Ravita. Right. So the level 2 is about getting the data, storing it, or other additional skills, where you learn skills like tools like Beautiful Soup, MySQL, and Excel. Now, why do we need Beautiful Soup? We work with data, right? But where did that data come from? You have to extract it from some website or some survey. Generally we take data from the websites using cookies. or maybe scraping. This is called web scraping, when you take data from a website and you use it for your own good. For that purpose, you need things like Beautiful Soup, which you will learn in no time. It will not take you a lot of time to understand Beautiful Soup. Once you're done with the previous step, this is like a piece of cake for you. This is very simple. So you can understand how to get data from the user using a website. And for that, you learn Beautiful Soup, or you can also learn Selenium. But generally, people use Beautiful Soup and learn how to do web scraping, and then store that data somewhere. So storing that data into nice tables, um, or databases, you use SQL for that, or SQL, which is structured query language, where you can. It's a very simple language to play with data, use some queries to make sense of data. Again, very simple. It'll hardly take you 1 week to get well versed with SQL. And then Excel, your friendly Excel. It is not going to take you more than a weekend to get through Excel, and use Excel to your benefit as a data scientist. To SQL? Ravita, are you asking about SQL? SQL, are you asking? Databases? Right, Excel. Okay, right. So storing the data nicely, storing the data raw in the raw form, and making sense out of it, you use SQL. And generating visualization, even Excel can generate plots for you, charts for you, graphs for you, if you use it correctly, tables for you, right? So a lot of data science or data analytics can be done just using Excel as well. You do not need to know Python for that. So, but again, since you want a good tech role, so I really recommend you learning Python. But once you're done with all of that, you can lastly top it up with Excel. And I kid you not, once you're done till here, you are among the top most desirable candidates for a data science role. Companies will reach out to you if you start applying, right? So at this point, this is the point where you should start applying for internship day and night, right? Forget about your pride and start applying, right? This is the point where you should start applying for internships on platforms like LinkedIn and Internshala. There can be other platforms as well, but these two are the most genuine one. The real job updates are there, right? So I want you to apply on LinkedIn and Internshala after end of 4 months and learning all of that. And day and night, do not get disheartened by rejections, because you'll have rejections. Some companies do not understand how much of work you've put into it, and they'll just ask for experience. But keep on applying, keep on applying. And here also, I want to tell you that do not shy away from doing unpaid work. Do not shy away from doing unpaid internship. If you want to learn something, you should be able to do unpaid internship. I myself have done several unpaid internships. And after that, as a result of which, I learned so much that I got a very good paying job right away. Right? So do the unpaid work, do not shy away from that, and do as many internships in a stipulated period of time as you can. Understand the work. Right? Right. Fine. So you start applying for internships over here. And meanwhile, what do you do on your off days? You upskill yourself, you upgrade your skills. Now is the time when you can learn things like computer vision or NLP or advanced artificial intelligence technologies. You can take time off, you're working, you already know how the industry works, and then you can upgrade yourself accordingly. So here is the point where you should go to different courses and learn them while you still have a job or an internship in your hand. And you have to update your resume every now and then. While you're in one job, do not think that is it. Just keep on updating your resume. You did something major in your life, in your career, update your resume and post it on LinkedIn. Be active on LinkedIn. Get seen by people. Just make it a habit to take 1 hour a day and go on LinkedIn rather than Insta, rather than Snapchat. Go to LinkedIn and just like random people's post. Because what happens? LinkedIn promotes your profile then if you're active on LinkedIn, right? So make connections over there, update your resume, put it on show over there, and then you will start receiving opportunities. It's so funny. You'll get opportunities from everywhere once you start doing this, right? And lastly, keep your inner Sherlock alive. Do not stop asking questions. Even when you have a 50 LPA salary, at one point, I really do want all of you to have a very good package at some point of your life. But do not stop asking questions. Do not stop that inquisitive nature. Be it in your data training, be it asking questions for your data, be it asking questions for your life. Whether this is what I want to do, whether I want to become a data scientist, or whether I want to do something in the product role, or maybe a software engineer role. Do not stop asking, because right now you can invest. You have time in your hand, and money does not matter that much. It'll come. You'll always find ways to make money, right? But you have to realize what is it that you really want to do in life. And this is just one of the avenues. Data science is just one of the avenues. Just keep on exploring what you really want to do. Do not shy away from hard work, and keep on that Sherlock alive inside, right? And that is it. That's how you all can become data scientists, given the resources, given the roadmap, because there are ample resources on YouTube, but you just need to have a roadmap how to follow them. There's so many resources, and then you get confused what to do next. So you just follow this roadmap that I gave you. And I followed this personally. I come from an electrical engineering background, and I have a good paying job right now. And I can attest and I can say for all of you that you can also do it. If I can do it, anyone can do it. Okay? So that is it. And thank you so much for being such a lovely audience. I really enjoyed this session so much. I cannot even tell you. And it was a really pleasure to talk to all of you like this. Right. So if you have any doubts about anything at all in today's session, or you want to know how to learn these things, you can reach out to me on my LinkedIn profile. My name is Garima Saluja. This is a profile I go by over there. And you can also reach out to me on my email ID. Thank you so much. Right. I'm just writing my email ID in the chat box as well. You can reach out to me over there. And do not shy away from reaching out, because I am a teacher, and the best feeling is to get questions from my students and then resolving them. So you can always reach out to me, right? Any time of the day. Yeah, that is it from my side. It was lovely talking to all of you. Thank you so much. Right. Yes, Srishti.
Thank you so much, ma'am. This session was really a great success. And, as if we all know that anybody could make things really complicated, the hardest part is to keep things simple. And we're really glad to have you today here. And also, I would like to thank you all for being the part of our mission for educating the youth and spreading knowledge all over. And you all presence made this a great success. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you so much, all of you. I'm still receiving such lovely comments. I've never seen such wonderful crowd. Kudos to LPU crowd over here. You all have been such wonderful people over here. Thank you so much. You made my day.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Okay. Do you have any questions, all of you? Can we have a little quick Q&A over here? All right. If you don't have any questions, I think we can call it off for today. You can always reach out to me on my email ID, and I'm always there to help you with any possible. Yeah. Ma'am, what should I study? AI and machine learning. So you should see, AI is not a specific branch. You can start with machine learning. If you just type machine learning, that is under AI only. Right? Fine. Okay. Thank you, Akshay. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Um, I
Okay,
think,
so thank you. We can end this session over here today. Thank you so much, everyone. We wish you great success. Thank you.
thank you. Bye bye.